To talk about this and the ways and means for young people to secure themselves financially, we're joined by Nicholas van der Rest, who is a Director of Risk Product Innovation at Liberty. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Colin. Thanks for having me.
Well, you've seen an insert there that really highlights the plight of young people regarding unemployment. Secondly, the wage gap. What is your view regarding the current status quo for young people?
So, Colin, in the insurance industry, we've got a saying that a young person's biggest asset is not their house or their car or their flat screen TV, but actually their ability to earn an income. So you spoke a bit earlier about income protection, and that is exactly what we offer that market as a means for them to ensure that should something bad happen to them that allows them not to earn that income, we can actually help them.
So at the moment you're looking at those who have an income but don't have protection in case it falls off or in case they lose it.
Absolutely. So the kind of protection that we would give would be against something like accidents or illness or even retrenchment, which leads to you not earning an income.
Is there a high level of recklessness among young people who have just gotten jobs? For the first time in their lives, they all go out to splurge, buy a new car and be irresponsible, and then therefore to the insurance industry becoming high risk?
Yeah, so generally, I mean, younger people, you know, we've all been there. As you just come out of university, you generally have more income, which means that you can also enjoy yourself more. We see a very high incidence of car accidents among young people, typically people under the age of 26. But like I said, I mean, the real issue for us is not necessarily death at that point in time, but rather the inability to work due to a disability.
Well, what do you think about prioritization? Because I would think that young people mostly enter the company or any institution at a very low level. So entry level is not a huge salary for them to survive on.
Yeah. So of course, yes, you know, when you start working, you generally have a low income. But income protection is really the premium for an income protection policy depends on the cover amount. And the cover amount is generally related to your income at that point in time. So the relative level of affordability remains the same over time. Of course, yes, you are competing with the flat screen TV and the nice car. But, you know, being somebody who's been in the industry for a while, I have firsthand seen the power of an income protection policy to somebody who becomes disabled or is in a wheelchair at age 25.
With the casualization of the workforce at the moment, and secondly, young people don't necessarily get permanent jobs. They only get 2-year to 3-year contracts. How secured are their jobs and how secured are their incomes?
So I think when we look at the retrenchment stats among the insured population, we do see that younger people are more at risk of actually being retrenched when a company goes through that retrenchment exercise. From an insurance perspective, it's virtually impossible to give long-term protection for somebody who only has a contract. So we generally only look at somebody who is permanently employed, you know, which obviously does not solve that problem necessarily.
With the current prevailing economic circumstances, we have companies that are right-sizing. Have you looked at the statistics in terms of the last in, first out scenario, in which is the policy of retrenchment of many companies?
Yeah, so obviously the various companies don't necessarily tell us about what their policy is, but I think certainly in the last 12 months we've seen a massive increase in the number of people who actually become retrenched. Generally what happens is that your first line of retrenchment would be for manual laborer type people, but then the second wave of retrenchment is more in terms of middle and senior management, where the company has not managed to grow back to the size that it was before their first round of retrenchment.
Okay, many people say, why should I take an unemployment insurance whereas I have UIF? And secondly, I'm permanently employed, so nothing will happen to me. So why is there like people taking insurance begrudgingly?
So I think what people don't understand is that unemployment insurance generally gives you a very low income if you are retrenched. The second point that you mentioned, nothing is going to happen to me. I think if you look at the stats, you'll see that it has happened to so many people who really believed that nothing would happen to them. So, what we generally recommend is, even if you can't protect your entire salary, just get retrenchment cover for something like the bond, the car payment, your kids' school fees. So even if it's just a portion of your salary, to help you through those first 6 months after being retrenched.
All right. Thank you very much for the insight.
Thank you very much.
All right. Nicholas van der Nest is the Director of Risk Product Innovation at Liberty, talking to us right here on PM News at